investigations of the Clinton Foundation, and there is evidence that, in addition to this, that the Clinton Foundation investigations that may have been taking place during the Obama administration were suppressed by the Justice Department.
Wow. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton sounding off the alarm on the Clinton Foundation as House Republicans examine new allegations of pay-to-play while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. Here with more of his testimony is Tom Fitton. Tom, what's new about this?
Well, what's new is that Congress is actually doing a hearing on the Clinton Foundation. Many of these allegations came up as a result of Judicial Watch's Freedom of Information Act litigation that exposed the secret email system, showing that you had these pay-to-play activities taking place in August of 2016. And then yesterday's hearing saw new witnesses come forward who had pursued a separate investigation. They've talked to insiders at the Clinton Foundation who have raised concerns about the way it was run. And also that the Justice Department at least has asked for the information that they've gathered. I don't know if that means much in the end. I mean, you kind of see what's happening here. You had the Justice Department ambushing General Flynn while, as has been highlighted repeatedly, the same Justice Department was making sure the FBI wasn't investigating the Clinton Foundation in any serious way.
Number one, when she lost power and when she lost the election, man, did the Clinton Foundation pay the price. They earned $62.9 million in 2016. They raised it, I should say. In 2017, that went down to 26.6. That's a 58% decrease. Well, it's logical, some would say, because she lost power and she lost leverage. So what do you say to people who just say, well, she's out of power, you know, they just lost a little bit of momentum?
Well, she, isn't out of power in the sense she's still a political figure. But I'd be interested to know where the drop in donations came off. Was it the foreign governments who were supplying money to the Clinton Foundation during her tenure at the State Department? Did they stop giving because they didn't see an interest in doing so anymore? It's just as a further indication the Clinton Foundation was an influence factory and a platform for the Clinton brand to allow her to run for president. And the public corruption angle there is you had foreign money like the Russians trying to get a good result on the Uranium One decision, and other foundation donors with sketchy past, both foreign and domestic,
right,
using the foundation to get favors from the Clinton State Department. The State Department ought to be looking at what went on. The Justice Department ought to be looking at what went on, and obviously DOJ and FBI. And it's frankly shameful that Judicial Watch has had to carry the load on our shoulders.
No, it's been all you. And it started really the Clinton Cash book with Peter Schweitzer and Steve Bannon. Right. And then you guys have built and got into detail. But Jeff Sessions had no interest. We'll see if William Barr will, if he in fact gets okayed. Tom, always great talking to you. Thanks so much.
Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton testifying as part of the House Oversight Committee's hearing to examine accusations of pay-to-play at the Clinton Foundation. Tom Fitton joins me now with more. Tom, thank you so much for taking the time. You had a busy day yesterday. You were there on Capitol Hill. Tell us about it.
Well, it was better late than never by Republicans in Congress who held this hearing finally about the Clinton Foundation, which was a vehicle in many ways for foreign nationals and foreign governments to influence the Secretary of State. You know, when she was put forward as Secretary of State, there were concerns about what was going on with the foundation and Bill Clinton's speeches. They said, don't worry about it. We'll have this ethics process. Mrs. Clinton won't be involved in the Clinton Foundation at all as Secretary of State. And our document requests found that wasn't the case. We found the emails on her secret email server that showed that the foundation almost immediately began asking for favors on behalf of donors, including foreign leaders. And the Justice Department supposedly began investigating that in 2016 as a result of our disclosures. But all the reports are from then, including in the recent IG report, was that the Justice Department actually suppressed the FBI investigation into it.
Tom, this has been going on for a long time. You mentioned 2016. The drop in donations also is evident. If you compare it to 2016, the foundation took in over $26 million in donations, and then it's been a 58% drop down in 2017 to $26 million. Someone who was not there yesterday, I wanted to ask you about U.S. Attorney John Huber. Why was he not there?
That's a good question. The Justice Department has been frozen over the last 2 years or so on all these Clinton-related issues and hyper-focused on targeting President Trump. You know, there's evidence you had a bunch of Russian money, millions of dollars in Russian money, flow into the foundation and into the personal coffers of the Clintons in order to guarantee a positive result on Uranium One. Where is this Justice Department? They're investigating the specious Russia collusion allegations against the Trump campaign, but the Russia influence operation that benefited the Clintons directly and personally, AWOL.
And you had ties to Russian banks with the Podesta brothers, correct?
Oh, sure. You had Tony Podesta, who was working with Manafort, which is a separate issue. And then Mr. Podesta, John Podesta, who was close to Mrs. Clinton, had business relationships with the Russians as well. But as I said, this Justice Department, whether it be the deep state or whatever, it's all about getting President Trump and protecting Hillary Clinton. And it's about time this Clinton Foundation come up for review. And I'm glad this hearing took place because most Americans don't know about this corruption that's been uncovered as it relates to the Clintons. We had these two others witnesses yesterday testify. I listened to their testimony. They've talked to insiders at the Clinton Foundation that have concerns. And one of the conclusions I drew and the conclusions they drew was that maybe the Clinton Foundation should have been registered under the Foreign Agents Registration Act, which again is being used to target and harass President Trump and his team. But again, the Clintons get a pass. So
they were not registered?
They were not, but they were acting on behalf of foreign governments, it looks like, and Rich raises questions about whether the law should have applied to them. You
know, Tom, I know that this is the first show that you're able to be on following your testimony from yesterday. Do you expect the other mainstream media to be talking about this today at all? Because they should be.
Oh, it's doubtful. The key thing is that the Justice Department hasn't acted yet. The other witnesses yesterday suggested the FBI may be interested in some of the information they have. They haven't communicated with us about the emails that we've uncovered. But unless the Justice Department acts, the media is going to have an excuse not to do anything.
Do you expect the Justice Department will?
I think the president is going to have to ask them directly to do so because they're not going to do it on its own, on their own. It's now been a year and, as I was pointing out, almost 2 years of the Trump administration. As long as Robert Mueller is running the show at the Justice Department, it's going to be all about getting Trump. We need more competent folks at the leadership of the Justice Department to get the justice that the American people have been demanding for years now on the Clinton gang.
All right, Tom Fitton, trying to get it under control. Thank you so much. You've been leading on this from the beginning. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
My next guest, North Carolina Congressman Mark Meadows. Congressman Meadows joins us now. He is chairman of the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, welcome. Good evening, and good to have you with us tonight.
Great to be with you, Martha. Thanks so much.
With regard to the investigation, which doesn't get a lot of attention, into the Clinton Foundation, the DOJ designated John Huber to look into this. They have 6,000 pages of evidence that they've gone through. The foundation raised $2.5 billion, and they're looking into potential improprieties. What's next on this investigation?
Well, I think for the American people, they want to bring some closure, not just a few sound bites here or there. So we're going to be having a hearing this week, not only covering over some of those 6,000 pages that you're talking about, but hearing directly from 3 whistleblowers that have actually spent the majority of the last 2 years investigating this. Some of the allegations they make are quite explosive, Martha. And as we just look at the contributions, now everybody's focused on the contributions for the Clinton Foundation and what has happened just in the last year. But if you look at it, you know, it had a very strong rise the minute she was selected as Secretary of State. It dipped down when she was no longer then rose again when she decided to run for president. So there's all kinds of allegations of pay to play and that kind of thing. Yeah. We just want the truth to be revealed.
Do these whistleblowers have evidence that there was ever a quid quid pro quo of a donation in return for some activity as Secretary of State?
Well, they do. They've made some allegations there, and again, I want to stress their allegations, and so we're hoping to get to the bottom of that. They've turned over their documents not only to the FBI, but they've turned them over to the IRS, and you know, I've been led to believe that there is actually an ongoing investigation with the FBI, even though DOJ is not independently confirming that. But based on conversations that they have had and others, it sounds like there's a real investigation going on that hopefully will provide some real fruit.
All right, we'll watch for that hearing because it's been going on a while, and I think a lot of people wonder if there's actually an investigation there. So we'll see what you guys find out next week. All of you find out. Thank you very much, Congressman Mark Meadows. Pleasure to talk to you tonight, sir.
Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.